My child, open your heart and listen, not casually, not distracted, but fully present, for what I am about to speak carries the weight of your next season. This is not just a message. This is a divine turning point. I brought you here on purpose. You didn't stumble into this moment. I summoned you because there is a page in your life that I have already turned, and you need to know what that means before you miss what I've already moved. You've asked me in the silence, why did it change so fast? Why did they leave? Why does it feel like I'm starting over? I heard you, and this message is my answer. So lean in. Don't scroll past what heaven is using to confront, comfort, and commission you. If you leave early, you'll walk away carrying questions I was ready to resolve. If you listen through, you'll find healing in the very places you thought were lost beyond repair. There are instructions here meant only for your ears. There are confirmations that carry your next yes. There is deliverance woven between these very words, and I don't want you to miss it. Because, my beloved, I turned the page for you. Not against you, not without you, but for you. And until you understand what that means, you will misinterpret my movement and question my mercy. So watch until the end. Listen like your future depends on it, because in many ways, it does. This is more than insight. It is alignment. More than inspiration. It is impartation. More than words, that is my voice, calling you out of the old and into the ordained. I turned the page, and now let me show you why. My child, I saw you. Not just your outer tears, but the ones that never reached your eyes. The ones that burned quietly behind your smile. I watched you carry burdens too heavy for your frame, wearing strength like armor while your soul trembled beneath. I heard your questions in the stillness. The ones you whispered when no one else was near. Why is this happening? How long must I stay here? Will you come? I never turned away. I never stopped listening. Before the words left your lips, they reached my throne. Before the pain reached its peak, my hand was already moving. You walked through the valley thinking I had forgotten you, but I was nearer than your breath. I was the one holding your frame when you thought you'd collapse. I was the whisper when fear screamed loudest. I allowed the valley not to punish you, but to prepare you. Every hardship you endured was a chapter written not in cruelty, but in careful, intentional love. I do not waste pain. I redeem it. I reshape it. I repurpose it for glory. And even when you felt forsaken, I was weaving the next chapter behind the veil. You didn't see it, but I was turning pages while you stood still, writing healing before you even knew to ask for it. Come closer. Let me show you what you couldn't see then. A job you lost, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. That relationship that fell apart, it wasn't failure, it was freedom. That long night of silence was not abandonment. It was me removing the noise so you could hear my whisper again. You thought you were alone, but I was holding the broken pieces, forming something stronger than before. The waiting, the silence, the aching, none of it was wasted. It all carried weight in eternity. My timing is never off, my delays are never cruel, and my ways are never random. I am a God of precision, of divine appointment, of perfect alignment. You were not buried, you were planted. And though the soil felt suffocating, your roots were growing deep in me. Eager than comfort, eager to logic, eager to what could be seen on the surface. I let you feel the depth of need, so you would learn the depth of my sufficiency. I let you walk through dry places, so you would thirst for rivers that never run dry. I allowed the night to linger, so when the dawn broke, you'd know it was me and not man who brought the light. Now, take a breath. Exhale the grief of yesterday. Inhale the truth. I have not forgotten you. I have not overlooked you. I have not delayed without reason. I turned the page not because you were ready, but because the story required it. And now, here you stand, still breathing, still believing, still mine. That alone is evidence enough that I never left you in the valley. So come, walk with me now. Let your questions rest. Let your worries dissolve in my presence. I know what you lost. I know what it cost you to hold on. And I promise you this. I will restore what was broken. I will repay what was stolen. I will finish what I began. This chapter will not echo the last. You are stepping into what I wrote long before the pain began. You are stepping into what I ordained before the value was ever formed. Lift your head, my child. The page has turned. And I, your God, your author, your father, I am still writing. Child, I closed the doors you kept trying to pry open, not because I was being cruel, but because I love you too much to let you stay bound to what cannot walk with you into your destiny. There were people you begged me to keep, situations you tried to salvage, seasons you longed to extend. But I saw what you could not. I saw the weight hidden beneath the smiles. I saw the intentions buried beneath the surface. I saw the chains you mistook for comfort. And so I stepped in. I interrupted what you thought was good, because I was protecting what is divine. I am not a God of halfway freedom. I do not allow attachments that weaken your calling to endure. I removed what could not grow with you. I separated what could not serve the story I've written for you. That relationship you mourned, it was stealing your strength. That dream you buried, it was never rooted in me. The path you pleaded for, it ended in brokenness. And so, with divine precision, I stepped in and severed what was not aligned with my will. I didn't do it to harm you. I did it to prune you. You understand the weight of that word, beloved. Pruning is painful. Yes, but it is sacred. I cut away not because I am angry, but because I see the fruit that's coming. I know what is growing beneath the surface. I see the harvest you can't yet touch. Trust me when I say, nothing I remove is wasted, and nothing I take away is left unreplaced. I am the God of recompense, of beauty from ashes, of resurrection from ruin. What felt like loss was actually an invitation to trust me deeper. You asked me for elevation, for clarity, for greater purpose. But greater cannot come where compromise lies. You cannot cling to the old and still embrace the new. So I stripped away what slowed you down. I closed the doors you knocked on in desperation. I blocked the paths you tried to resurrect. And I did it because I saw who you are becoming. You cried for restoration, but I had to make room first. You pleaded for destiny, but destiny demanded detachment. Now listen, what ended was not your punishment, it was your preservation. That no is not rejection, it is redirection. That closed door is not a curse, it is a covenant promise. I will never withhold what is holy. I will never block what is meant to bless you. If I close it, it's because something greater waits on the other side. Release the grief, my child. Let go of what no longer belongs to you. Stop trying to resurrect what I have buried. Trust the doors I've sealed. I closed them because I love you. I closed them to make room for resurrection. I closed them because what's coming is weightier than what was lost. And the next chapter cannot begin with hands still clinging to yesterday. My beloved, I do not edit your life according to the shifting winds of fear. I do not write my promises to fit your doubt. I am not waiting to see how things unfold. I am the one unfolding them. I declare the end from the beginning. I speak, and it becomes. I write, and it stands. You are not living some rough draft of your destiny. You are living the masterpiece I am writing with intention, precision, and eternal vision. You have questioned me, wondering if I made a mistake. You've looked at the pain, the setbacks, the confusion, and thought, did God change his mind? But hear me clearly now. I do not make errors. I do not fumble with your future. I do not scratch out chapters and start over in frustration. I am not editing your life. I am authoring it. And what I write, no man can erase. You are not a mistake being corrected. You are a wonder being revealed. Every scar, every stumble, every delay, it's all ink on the page of something holy. I am not ashamed of your past, and I am not intimidated by your weakness. I have already accounted for the detours. I have already woven redemption into every broken place. You don't have to rewrite what I've already redeemed. Stop trying to fix what I've already forgiven. Stop trying to erase what I've transformed. When I say you are chosen, that doesn't change when you fail. When I call you mine, the title isn't revoked when you fall short. My word over you is not a pencil mark. It is etched in eternity. You are not being edited. You are being unveiled. Layer by layer, line by line, I am revealing the beauty of my design. Trust my pen, even when the paragraph feels painful. Trust my plan, even when the chapter feels silent. The plot twist you didn't expect. I already wrote the ending. A suffering you didn't see coming. I already embedded the redemption. The waiting that stretches your soul. It's part of the rhythm of this divine narrative. Do not be afraid of the page you're on. I'm not panicked. I'm not revising. I'm writing. And I am the author who finishes what I begin. I am the Word made flesh, the voice who spoke creation into existence, and I am still speaking into your life. Let me write. Let me lead. Let me unfold what you can't yet see. You are my story, not my mistake. You are my poem, not a problem to be solved. Trust the ink. Trust the hand that holds the pen. I am not editing you. I am revealing my glory through you. Hear me now, my precious one. I did not leave you. When the chapter closed, when the shift happened, when you looked around and felt like everything familiar had disappeared, I was still there. I never walked away from you. I turned the page not to abandon you, but to advance you. And I carried you through that turning. You feared the silence, thinking it meant I had gone quiet. But silence does not mean absence. It means intimacy. It means I was leaning in, whispering truths too sacred for noise. I was walking beside you in the transitions you didn't understand, carrying the weight you couldn't bear. Every season that broke you, I bore with you. Every night you felt forgotten, I was watching over you. Do not believe the lie that says I left when the scenery changed. I am not bound by location or circumstance. I am with you in the garden and in the wilderness. I am God on the mountaintop and in the valley. When you walked into uncertainty, I didn't stay behind. I went ahead, and I also remained beside. I am the one who surrounds you. You saw the page turn and thought you'd been left to fend for yourself. But child, I am not a distant author. I am an ever-present father. I don't just write your story, I walk it with you. I'm not reading from afar. I am stepping with you word by word. I don't leave what I create. I don't forsake what I've redeemed. I stay. Even when you question, even when you fall, Even when you wander, my presence remains constant. So rise now. Let go of the fear that I've forgotten you. Let go of the pain that tells you you were left behind. Look again. I'm still here. I've always been here. And the turning of the page was not a dismissal. It was an invitation. An invitation to grow. An invitation to rise. An invitation to step into more than you imagined. The past chapter was necessary, but it is not where you belong anymore. I am leading you forward. I turned the page because I saw what was next. I turned it because I love you. I turned it so you could finally breathe again, dream again, trust again. You are not alone in this chapter. I am with you. Always. You have no idea how many times the enemy tried to break you. You don't see the schemes that were planned against you while you slept. But I saw everyone. I stood guard while the darkness plotted, and I blocked what you never even knew to fear. What was designed to end you, I transformed to elevate you. What should have crushed your spirit, I rewrote into the very breath that now testifies of my power. My child, you are still standing, not because the attack didn't happen, but because my hand was stronger. The betrayal that shattered your heart, the loss that drained the color from your world, the depression that whispered death into your soul, none of it succeeded. You thought those were endings, but I was birthing new beginnings in their ashes. You walked through fire, but it did not consume you. You faced the flood, but it did not drown you. Because I was there in the center of it all, weaving deliverance from destruction. Do not be ashamed of what you endured. Do not bury the moments you thought would kill you. Bring them into my light, because what once wounded you will now be your weapon. Your story is not one of defeat. It is one of redemption. Every scar on your heart is a sacred reminder that you survived. And not only survived, but were set apart. I did not leave you in the rubble. I stood beside you and breathed into your brokenness. I wrapped my strength around your weakness. I gathered your tears and turned them into rain that waters others. What the enemy meant for evil, I redirected for eternal glory. Your pain was not random. Your agony did not go unnoticed. I am the God who collects every tear, who bends low to heal every bruise, and who lifts the humble to places they never imagined. Stand tall now. What you've walked through is not shame, it is authority. You have been trained in the fire. You have been fortified through suffering. Now speak. Don't hide the chapters you wished never happened. Don't silence the testimony that shakes the gates of hell. Your voice carries weight in the spirit because it is soaked in resurrection. You know what it is to be at the bottom and to feel forgotten. And now you will be a voice for the voiceless, a beacon for the broken, a lighthouse for the lost. Lift your head, because you carry evidence of survival. You don't need a stage. I am the one who gives your voice power. You don't need applause. I give you impact. A cry others did not crush you. What silenced others now fuels your fire. You are the proof that I restore. You are the vessel through which my glory will be seen. So walk forward, my child, not as a victim of past battles, but as a living, breathing, victorious testimony. My child, don't stop here. I've only begun to unfold what your pain was preparing. If you walk away now, you'll miss the healing I authored for your next breath. It would grieve me to see you return to what I just rescued you from. Stay with me. I'm not done speaking to the places that still bleed. I know what you've been through. I've seen the rooms you cried in. I stood in the shadows when shame tried to name you. I heard the labels spoken over you. Failure, too much, not enough. And I tore every one of them from your identity. You are not the abandonment you suffered. You are not the sin you committed. You are not the mistake others defined you by. You are mine, and that alone changes everything. Stop replaying the worst moments like they own you. They don't. They cannot define you unless you give them permission. And I have not given them authority over you. What happened may have hurt you, but it didn't rewrite your value. What broke you did not break the covenant I made with you. You have been carrying the memory of pain like it is your identity, but I call you by a different name. You are not what you walk through. You are who I say you are. You are healed, even if you still feel the ache. You are redeemed, even if the story still stings. You are new, even if the past still knocks at your door. Release the guilt that was never yours to keep. Lay down the blame you've worn like a chain. I do not look at you through the lens of condemnation. I look at you through the blood of my Son, pure, beloved, restored. When I see you, I see the finished work. I see the victory. I see the masterpiece still unfolding, even if you're standing in the mess. Now rise in that truth. Stop apologizing for surviving. Stop hiding the beauty of who you're becoming because of where you've been. The wilderness didn't kill you, it trained you. The fall didn't disqualify you, it humbled you. The delay didn't ruin you, it refined you. My child, do not accept any identity that I did not give. You are not your past. You are not your throne. You are not your lowest moment. You are my delight, my joy, my chosen one. Let this truth rewire your heart. I define you by grace, not by grief. I define you by my promise, not your past. I define you by destiny, not disaster. Your pain is real, but it is not your identity. Your regrets are forgiven. Your shame is silence. Walk forward not in denial of what happened, but in revelation of who I've declared you to be. The old has passed away. A new has come. Live in that reality. Familiar does not always mean safe. Comfort can become a prison when I'm calling you to growth. And so, I stirred your spirit. I agitated the waters. I disrupted what you thought was stability, because I refused to let you settle in what limits you. You prayed for transformation, and transformation requires movement. You asked me to take you deeper, and deeper required letting go of the shallow. You were clinging to routine like it was rescue, but I saw that it was restraint. I saw how the familiar dulled your hunger, numbed your purpose, and strangled your vision. So I stepped in, not to ruin what you built, but to re-anchor you in me. I had to remove what you made an idol. I had to shake the ground you called home because it could no longer carry the weight of your calling. Hear me now. You are not meant to stay where there is no growth. You are not called to remain in places that tolerate you but never celebrate you. I am leading you into new territory. But to go forward, you must release what once comforted you but now confines you. That old mindset, that toxic relationship, that stagnant environment. They cannot walk with you where you are going. You asked me to enlarge your territory, but first I had to uproot you. Yes, you heard. Yes, it confused you. But child, I'm not interested in your temporary comfort. I am committed to your eternal purpose. I turned the page to set you free, to break the cycle, to disrupt the lie that said, this is all you'll ever be. No more thinking, no more pretending, and no more returning to what I've called you out of. It's time to walk forward, into unfamiliar glory, into territory marked with my fingerprints, into the version of you that only I have seen. Let go of the old narrative. Break agreement with fear. Release the illusion that predictable pain is better than uncertain promise. I've called you to trust me on waters you've never walked. I've called you into purpose that will make you tremble and rise. I've turned the page, and with it, I've unshackled you from cycles you didn't even know enslaved you. Don't look back. Don't reach for the broken habits that gave false peace. Come forward. Let me lead. Let me plant you where you'll thrive, not merely survive. The new page is calling, and it requires a new trust. Answer it with faith. When you said yes, even with trembling lips, the heavens move. When you obeyed, even when the path was hidden in shadow, I took that step of faith and wove it into the fabric of destiny. Do not underestimate what your obedience unlocked. You were not merely complying, you were aligning. And when your will bent to mine, power was released. I saw the private battles behind your surrender. I saw the fear you pressed through, the comfort zones you left, the questions you silenced just to say yes, Lord. And I honored it. Not one act of obedience goes unnoticed. You may not have understood it in the moment, but every yes wrote a line on this new page. Your submission became the ink of forward motion. You didn't need to see the full staircase. I only asked you to take the first step. And you did. Even when it hurt. Even when it felt like loss. You obeyed when it would have been easier to retreat. You let go of what made sense because you trusted me more than your understanding. And child, that kind of trust commands miracles. That kind of surrender unlocks supernatural momentum. You didn't wait for all the answers. You followed me in faith. And that faith speaks louder in the spirit realm than 1,000 shouted declarations. I move at the sound of obedience. I act when your heart aligns with mine. You may feel like you've been waiting on me, but it was your obedience that signaled to heaven that you were ready. Ready not because you felt confident, but because you believed in my character more than your circumstances. Obedience is not about perfection, it's about position. It places you beneath my covering. It positions you to receive what disobedience blocks. You didn't need to be flawless to move me. You only needed to be willing. And you were. That willingness shifted the atmosphere. That yes brought divine appointments into motion. That surrender rerouted generations. I know the cost of your obedience. I know what it required. But I also know what it birthed. The doors that are opening are not random. They are the reward of obedience. The peace that is rising in you is not accidental. It is the fruit of trust. And the favor you are about to encounter is the result of a decision you made when no one else saw. Now continue in that posture. Keep saying yes. Keep yielding. Keep letting me lead. Do not return to self-reliance. Do not second-guess what obedience has already set in motion. I will honor every act of trust. I will multiply what you place on the altar. I will use your yes to build what generations after you will walk in. And what I begin in surrender, I finish in glory. You are not at the end. This is not the last chapter. What you see now is not the full picture. I have more to say, more to do, more to reveal through you. Do not judge your life by this moment. Do not call it finished when I am still writing. You are still in motion. You are still becoming. The pause is not a period. It is a breath before the next crescendo. I have not abandoned my plan. I have not forgotten my promise. Delay is not denial. It is development. I am crafting character while you wait. I am refining your vision. I am removing the noise so you can hear me more clearly. What feels like stagnation is sacred preparation. I build slow because I build strong. I take my time because I dread the outcome. And you, my beloved, are worth building well. You've looked at others and wondered why their story seemed to progress faster. But I'm not writing their story in you. I'm writing something unique, something eternal, something that requires depth. I am not interested in quick results. I am after lasting fruit, and lasting fruit requires deeper roots. I have been planting you in places where no one applauds, so that when the platform comes, you will stand unshaken. Do not grow weary. You are not being overlooked. You are being readied. I still have psalms for you to sing, prayers for you to pray, battles for you to win. I still have people who need what I placed inside you. You have not missed your moment. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are right on time in my divine rhythm. I have not stopped dreaming over you. I have not withdrawn my hand. I have not changed my mind. What I began, I will complete. What I spoke, I will fulfill. I am not bound by time, and I do not abandon what I create. You are still in progress, and that is holy. Let yourself breathe in the grace of process. Let yourself rise in the joy of knowing this is not the end. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep bringing me your heart. I am still writing, and the next lines I pen will make sense of what you couldn't understand before. You are not finished. You are unfolding, and what is coming will be more beautiful than you dared to imagine. Your prayers were not lost in the silence. I heard them all. The whispered ones in the dark, the desperate ones through tears, the wordless ones grown from a weary heart. You thought I wasn't listening, but I was closer than you knew. Every prayer you've ever prayed has been gathered like incense before my throne. Not one was dismissed. Not one went unnoticed. And I turned the page because your prayers moved heaven. It wasn't your perfection that moved me. It was your faith. Faith not in your ability to get it right, but in my heart to respond. I am not a distant God requiring flawless requests. I am a tender Father moved by the cries of my children. I heard your hunger before you even found the words. I saw your surrender in the silence between your sighs. And when your heart bent in trust, I moved in response. Prayer is not a ritual, it is partnership. And you, my child, partnered with me in faith. You aligned your desires with mine. You laid down your agenda and said, your will, not mine. And in that moment, heaven began to write a new chapter. You didn't see it instantly, but I was already orchestrating details behind the veil. I was setting people in motion, realigning timelines, redirecting outcomes. You asked for healing. I started restoration. You asked for clarity. I began unveiling. You asked for breakthrough. I opened what was sealed. But I didn't just answer you according to your words. I answered you according to your heart. I saw beyond what you asked for and gave you what you truly needed. That is my love in action. You thought I was silent, but I was gathering the rain to pour it all at once. I was preparing the suddenly. I was aligning your heart to handle what you'd been praying for. I turned the page not just to change your circumstance, but to honor your cry. I did it because you dared to believe. I did it because you trusted me when nothing made sense. Now watch. The answers are coming. The shift is here. The doors are opening. And you will know it was your prayers that moved my heart. Not because you earned it, but because you are mine. And I always respond to the sound of my child's voice. You pray, God, use me. This is how I'm answering you now. When you give, you don't just support a video, you carry my voice into someone else's midnight. Every super thanks, membership, or PayPal gift becomes a page I turn in another soul's story. I said give, and it will be given to you, and I do not speak in riddles. This is not about charity, it's about harvest. Your act of faith is a seed, and I will water it with favor, surround it with protection, and breathe on it with purpose. The PayPal link is in the video description. And now move, click, give, and let your obedience write deliverance into someone else's page. If you leave now, you'll abandon the very breakthrough your prayer set in motion. You've cried, God, I want more, yet you stand on the edge of retreat. My heart longs to finish this conversation, to place strength where weakness tried to reign. To walk away now would be to silence the answer I've waited to give you. Keep listening, your deliverance is in the next breath. You cannot walk into the future while thinking like the past. You cannot carry forward the language of lack, the posture of fear, or the mindset of survival and expect to thrive in the space I've prepared. My child, the new page I've turned requires a renewed mind. What once protected you has now become your limitation. What once made sense in the old chapter will now sabotage the unfolding of this new one. I am not just inviting you into new terrain. I am calling you to think from a higher place. Let go of the lies you made agreements with. You are not too broken. You are not unworthy. You are not disqualified. Those voices that have followed you, the ones that sounded like your past, your pain, your critics, they do not have authority here. I have broken their grip. You no longer need to think like a slave when I've called you a son. You do not need to calculate your steps in fear when I have promised to guide your path. Do not rehearse the disappointments of yesterday as if they will define tomorrow. Stop treating temporary losses as permanent truths. I am shifting your perspective so that you see with kingdom clarity. You must begin to speak what aligns with my spirit, not what echoes your fears. Say what I say. Declare what I've declared. I am renewing your thoughts so that you no longer speak death over what I have blessed. This is not a mental exercise. It is spiritual transformation. It is not about pretending. It is about aligning. You are stepping into a place that requires boldness birthed from intimacy. And that kind of boldness only grows where my truth is planted. Feed your mind with my word. Saturate your inner world with my voice. The battlefield is not around you, it is within you. And I have equipped you to win. Every time you speak life when death surrounds you, you establish territory. Every time you choose hope over despair, you silence the accuser. Every time you believe my promise over your circumstance, you make space for the miraculous. The old you cannot survive in this new environment. That version of you that walked in insecurity and timidity, that version is gone. I am calling forth the warrior, the beloved, the one clothed in strength and dignity. Take every thought captive. Do not allow your mind to become the playground of the enemy. Stand guard at the gates of your mind. Speak truth even when your emotions tremble. This is not about feeling, it is about believing. And what you believe will shape everything that follows. The mindset of the past was reaction. The mindset of the kingdom is revelation. Walk in it. Think higher. Speak differently. Dream bigger. Let my spirit reshape the way you see, feel, and move. Because what I am doing now cannot be contained by old patterns. And who you are becoming will not fit into who you used to be. You have stepped into unfamiliar ground. You feel the shift, the stretch, the weight of responsibility pressing against your chest. But hear me clearly. You are not walking into this chapter alone. I have not sent you forward and stayed behind. I have gone before you, walked beside you, and surrounded you on every side. My presence is not limited to the mountaintop. It flows through the valley, the unknown, the uncharted. I did not just assign you to this chapter. I appointed myself as your constant companion within it. I have placed my spirit within you, not to observe, but to guide. Not to watch from a distance, but to dwell in the depths of your being. When you feel unsure, it is my voice that will counsel you. When you feel overwhelmed, it is my presence that will stabilize you. You will never face a moment alone, for I have sealed my nearness into the fabric of your identity. I have also assigned angels to you, warriors of light who guard your steps. You may not see them, but they move at my command. They war on your behalf, minister to your weariness, and protect what I have placed in your hands. Do not underestimate the supernatural support surrounding you. You are not an orphan. You are not forgotten. You are a citizen of heaven walking through earth with divine backup. There is also a great cloud of witnesses cheering you on, those who ran their race and now rejoice as you run yours. You are part of a story bigger than your struggle. You are not the first to walk in faith, and you will not be the last. Others have overcome, and so shall you. I have woven you into a lineage of warriors, prophets, lovers of truth, and heaven watches as you carry the baton forward. Even when you feel emotionally empty, I remain. Even when your strength is depleted, I pour in mine. Even when you stumble, I hold you. You are not a burden to me. You are not too much. You are my beloved, and I am invested in your victory. I did not bring you this far to leave you stranded. I am too faithful to abandon what I began. My commitment to you is not seasonal, it is eternal. So lift your eyes. When fear rises, call on me. When doubt whispers, rebuke it with truth. When loneliness creeps in, let my presence flood the silence. You are never alone, not in the morning, not in the midnight, not in the moments of deep questioning. I am with you still. I walk this page with you, word by word, line by line, breath by breath. You've learned to equate silence with distance, but I need you to unlearn that now. Silence does not mean I've left you. It does not mean I've stopped working. It means I am drawing you into deeper stillness, into the holy hush where my whispers become clearer than the world's noise. After the page turns, there is always a pause. Not because I have nothing to say, but because I want you to hear me in a different way. You are used to movement being loud. You are used to clarity arriving in signs and wonders. But now I am training you to discern me in quiet currents. The absence of noise is not the absence of me. It is the cultivation of awareness. Trust that I am still writing. Trust that I am still here. Learn to rest without explanation. Learn to trust without immediate evidence. The silence is not punishment. It is preparation. It is in the stillness that I stretch your spirit. I teach your soul to listen. I sharpen your discernment. I separate your dependency on feeling from the power of faith. In this pause, I'm not holding back. I'm inviting you forward, but inward first. Do not rush to fill the silence. Don't run from what feels empty. Sit with me there. Let me speak in new ways. Let me reveal myself not through the fire, not through the earthquake, not through the wind, but in the gentle whisper. That whisper will rewire you. It will anchor you. It will remind you that I am enough, even when the answers delay. You are not being punished. You are being purified. You are not forgotten. You are being fortified. I am teaching you to walk by faith, not by noise. I am reminding you that my presence is deeper than a feeling. And as you sit in the stillness, as you choose to trust without proof, you are being transformed. Breathe deep. This silence is sacred. This moment is holy. This quiet is not the absence of me. It is the fullness of me in a different form. Let it do its work. Let it heal what noise could not. Let it draw you into communion that performance could never create. I am still here. I am still good. And I am still writing, even in the silence. You have allowed your past to sit in the seat of judgment for far too long. You've let it speak into your worth, into your future, into your perception of what is possible. But now I tell you the truth that breaks chains. Your history cannot cancel what I've declared over you. It cannot veto what I ordained before time even began. Your mistakes do not intimidate me. Your failures do not alter my plan. I knew the entirety of your story when I called you. I saw every fall, every detour, every decision, and I still said, "You are mine." Stop assigning finality to seasons I already redeemed. Stop letting former things determine how you walk into future ones. Your past has a place, but it does not have permission to rule you. It is not your blueprint. It is your backdrop. I use every fragment of it, not to chain you, but to launch you. The pain that shaped you will now fuel your purpose. The detours you once despised will become the bridges into your destiny. I never waste the journey. Do not look at where you came from as evidence of what you deserve. I do not bless you based on where you've been. I bless you based on who you are becoming in me. And that becoming cannot be stopped by anything written in the chapters behind you. The enemy has tried to convince you that your history disqualifies you. But I am the one who specializes in using broken vessels to carry eternal glory. You are not your background. You are not your generational patterns. You are not your trauma. You are not your title, your status, or your former reputation. You are my vessel, recreated, repurposed, reborn. I do not consult your past when I author your future. I consult my word, and my word does not return void. You have feared being exposed. You have feared that what you hidden would discredit you. But I do not reveal to shame. I reveal to heal. I bring the past into the light, not to accuse you, but to extract its power. Once exposed to truth, it no longer holds authority over your identity. Step out from beneath that shadow. The labels others gave you do not have eternal signatures. I have written my name over your life, and no one can erase what I seal. The story I'm writing is not one of escape. It is one of elevation. I will use every chapter of your history, not as a ceiling, but as a testimony of my grace. Lift your eyes. What had come is weightier than what was lost. Your destiny is still alive. Your purpose is untouched by time. I have not changed my mind. I have not rescinded the promise. You are not too late, and no page in your past can hold back what I prepared for your future. What I am doing in you is not just for you. This transformation you feel pressing on every side, this breakthrough that rises from beneath years of silence, it carries a ripple. What I restore in you will overflow to the weary. What I heal in you will become medicine for those still bleeding. You were never just meant to survive. You were meant to multiply healing, to be a vessel of freedom for others who cannot yet find their way out of the dark. I have entrusted you with a testimony, not to store it in silence, but to carry it boldly like a torch through the midnight hours of others. Your scars are not shameful, they are signposts. They mark the places I met you. They mark the battles you conquered through my strength. And now they will mark the beginning of someone else's deliverance. Do not underestimate the power of your restoration. When you speak of what I've done, shackles begin to loosen. When you carry your story in truth and courage, you carve paths through impossible terrain. Your obedience opens doors not just for you, but for generations. I have blessed you to be a blessing. I have poured into you so you can pour into others without fear of running dry. My supply does not end, and what flows through you will not be diluted by your past. You thought your struggle was solitary, but I was shaping a voice that could reach those who speak the language of pain. You thought your journey was private, but I was preparing a legacy that would speak long after you are gone. Every page I turned with others in mind. Every miracle I worked in you, I planned as a gateway for someone else's freedom. You are part of my strategy to flood the earth with glory. You are not just being healed, you are being commissioned. You are not just being delivered, you are being sent. What you overcame will now break chains in others. What once silenced you will now empower your roar. You will walk into rooms, and atmospheres will shift, not because of your strength, but because of my glory flowing through your yielded heart. This is not performance. This is divine purpose. You do not need a platform to carry power. You do not need applause to leave impact. You need only to stay surrendered. I will use you in ordinary moments to release extraordinary breakthrough. Your healing will become contagious. Your freedom will overflow. Your words will carry my weight. The blessing is never stagnant. It multiplies. And what I've begun in you is only the seed. Watch what I grow through you. My beloved, to pause now would be to interrupt the unveiling of my glory in you. I turn the page not just for your comfort, but for my kingdom. Would you halt the hand of the author midway? Would you settle for survival when I am preparing you to carry fire? Grieve not my spirit by closing this moment. Lean in. I have more to pour. You have wondered why the season shifted so suddenly. You have asked why the terrain beneath you changed without warning. And now I reveal the reason. I turn the page not merely to promote you, but to display my glory through you. The world is watching for a glimpse of me. And through your life, I will be seen. Through your restoration, I will be magnified. Through your obedience, I will be exalted. This page is not about your comfort. It is about my kingdom. I am not just delivering you. I am transforming you into a vessel of my presence. Your process was not punishment. It was preparation. I allowed the wilderness not to break you, but to strip away what could not carry my weight. I permitted the fire not to destroy, but to purify. What felt like delay was me refining the gold within you. Now, the time has come for you to shine, not for attention, but for divine reflection. Do not think that your story is small. When I mark a life, even the smallest ripple becomes a wave in eternity. I am the author of glory, and I choose vessels the world overlooks. I lift the humble, not the proud. I raise the surrendered, not the self-made. And you, my child, have given me space. Now I will fill that space with myself. Miracles are not reserved for the platform. They are birthed in quiet rooms where faith meets fire. And I have seen your private faithfulness. I have seen your secret sacrifice. I have heard the prayers you prayed with trembling. And now I will reward openly what you stewarded in secret. My glory will flow, not as a spectacle, but as a steady river. It will heal. It will deliver. It will raise the dead places back to life. Walk now with reverence. This new page is holy. It is weighty. Not because of what it will give you, but because of who it will reveal me to be. You are being entrusted with something sacred. My power, clothed in humility. My presence, carried in purity. Let every word you speak echo eternity. Let every step you take honor the oil that rests upon you. I turn this page to glorify myself through your becoming, so that when others look at you, they will not just see survival. They will see resurrection. They will see me. There's a reason I turned the page. There's a reason the chapter behind you closed with finality. What once served you now stifles you. What once comforted now confines. And still, I see your eyes drift backward, longing for the known, even if it wounded you. But I speak now with fierce tenderness. Stop looking back. You were not made to live in reverse. What is behind you has no life left to offer. Looking back will rob you of the glory ahead. It will blind you to what I am building. It will resurrect fears I already defeated. My child, you cannot carry the weight of yesterday while reaching for tomorrow. Let go. Stop trying to rewrite what I have already redeemed. I do not bring you forward only to have you gaze at ruins. Fix your eyes on what I've placed before you. Ahead is the place of promise, not regret. Lot's wife turned back and turned to salt, paralyzed between past and future, frozen by divided loyalty. You cannot afford divided vision. I am calling you into undivided trust. I am not behind you. I am before you. My spirit does not lead backward. It compels forward motion. I have new mercy waiting with the sunrise. I have provision appointed for the next step. I have doors opening that memory can't access. You cannot build the future by rehearsing the pain of the past. You must break agreement with nostalgia that glorifies what I've called you out of. Familiarity is not safety when I've marked you for transformation. The rearview mirror distorts purpose. Look through the windshield of faith, not the glass of former things. Yes, you will remember, but do not return. Let memory become testimony, not tether. Let history be a lesson, not a leash. Every forward step requires courage, but you're not stepping alone. I am already in the future you fear. I am standing in the promises you've barely begun to believe. I have greater ahead, not just different. What's coming is not a lesser version of what was. It is a higher glory, a fuller unveiling, a deeper joy. So press on. Let your feet carry your yes. Let your heart echo your trust. When the enemy tempts you to turn around, answer with worship. When the road narrows, lift your eyes higher. Forward is not always comfortable, but it is always holy when I lead. I have greater ahead, and it requires your full attention. Seasons shift. Landscapes change. Emotions rise and fall like tides. But I remain. I do not adapt to the circumstances around you. I reign above them. I am not seasonal. I am eternal. But I spoke over you in the fire. I still speak over you in the storm. What I declared in the silence, I still uphold in the noise. I am your constant when nothing else holds steady. When you were in the valley, I was the whisper that sustained you. When you stood on the mountain, I was the wind that refreshed you. I do not waver in my affection. I do not alter my promise. I do not withdraw when you fail or inch closer only when you succeed. I am faithful, not because of what you do, but because of who I am. You've mistaken shifting feelings for shifting truth. But I do not change when your circumstances do. My consistency is your anchor. My presence is not dictated by your performance. I was with you when you fell. I was with you when you rose. I was there when the page turned. I am still here now. Every chapter of your life reflects my character, not in how smooth it reads, but in how faithfully I lead. Your circumstances may evolve, but my covenant remains. The page may flip from joy to sorrow, from hope to confusion, but I remain unchanged. I do not become less present in pain or more active in peace. I am equally engaged in every paragraph. I do not skip lines. I do not lose interest. I am the author who stays in the story, not above it. When others left, I stayed. When fears screamed, I whispered. When uncertainty clouded your vision, I became your light. You do not need to earn my nearness. It is your inheritance. You don't need to beg for my attention. You already have my heart. Your story has not shocked me. Your detours haven't disoriented me. I remain your God, unchanged, unshaken, unmoved. Let this anchor you. If I was faithful in your lowest season, I will be faithful in your next one. If I held you in the silence, I will empower you in the spotlight. If I carried you through the wilderness, I will lead you into promise. I am the same yesterday, today, forever. Every chapter, every moment, every heartbeat, I remain. Do not wait for every promise to manifest before you rejoice. Do not delay your worship until every question is answered. You are not where you used to be. That alone is cause for celebration. This is not just a new season. It is a testimony in progress. You survived what tried to silence you. You endured what was meant to break you. You trusted me even when the path grew dark. Now lift your voice. Let praise rise, not as a reaction, but as a weapon. Joy is not the outcome of comfort. It is the fruit of confidence. And your confidence is not in outcomes. It is in me. Celebrate not because you see it all, but because you know I see the whole. Rejoice not because the battle is over, but because you are still standing. I have brought you this far, and I will bring you further. Let your thanksgiving be louder than your doubts. Worship is not just music. It is movement of the heart. Let it rise. Dance even if you're still in transition. Sing even if the healing is in process. Declare even if clarity hasn't fully rung. Your celebration shifts atmospheres. It shatters oppression. It silences the voice of accusation. The enemy loses his grip every time you choose gratitude over grief. You are not just entering new territory, you are claiming it. And the sound of celebration marks it as holy. Let your heart erupt with expectation. Let your mind rehearse miracles. Speak aloud the victories. Remember the doors I've opened. Recall the burdens I've lifted. Mark this moment with joy. Heaven celebrates with you. I am not a God of delayed joy. I am a God of daily goodness. Each moment you breathe is proof that I'm still writing. Don't measure progress only by what's visible. Celebrate the shift in your spirit. Celebrate the faith that rose. Celebrate the lies that broke. Celebrate the light that returned. Rejoice, because what's coming is even greater. This is not the final word. This is not the last miracle. This is not the end of your story. I am more. I have layers you haven't seen, depths you haven't touched, heights you haven't imagined. You may feel like this is the conclusion, but I am just beginning a new arc. Let go of the fear that this is all there is. I do not run out of wonders. I do not tire of redeeming. I am still writing. Breathe. Rest. Let me take the pen. You've tried to finish what was never yours to complete. You've carried the burden of knowing how it all plays out. But I never ask you to write. I ask you to trust. You are the page. I am the author. And my plot lines never collapse. My timing never misses. My resolutions never fail. You are not forgotten in the margin. You are the center of my attention. Every word I write is with precision. Every delay is a dramatic pause, not a denial. Every waiting room is a preparation chamber. Stay near to me. Watch what I unfold. Don't try to skip ahead. Let the pace sanctify you. My child, you are not a side note. You are my masterpiece in progress. I will write beauty from the ashes, wisdom from the pain, and purpose from every moment you've questioned. My story does not end in despair. It always leads to glory, and I do not leave sentences unfinished. Stay surrendered. Keep turning the page with me. Let my spirit guide your steps. Let my word renew your mind. Let my presence anchor your soul. This chapter may be unfamiliar, but it is fully mine. I am still writing, and I write in love, in power, in promise. So rise now. Your next chapter is holy. And I, your God, am not done. You've come this far because something in you knows I'm still writing. Don't leave this moment incomplete. You asked me how to be part of what I'm doing. Is it? When you give through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not tipping a ministry. You are fueling a movement of my word. Every gift is oil poured, fire spread, and chains shattered. I see your offering, and I will return it pressed down, shaken together, overflowing, not just in your finances, but in peace, protection, and divine alignment. Now respond. Obey. Partner with me, and let heaven echo your yes. Now, my child, pause in this moment. Breathe deeply. Let everything you've heard settle in your spirit like rain on dry ground. You have walked with me through every word. You have felt the weight of truth, the warmth of my nearness, the stirring of new hope within your chest. This is not the end. This is the threshold of something sacred. Do not close this encounter in silence. Respond. Step forward by speaking. Release what I have placed in you. I want to hear your voice. I want to see your agreement. The enemy silenced you long enough. Now I invite you to rise in declaration. Wait it. Speak it. Declare it boldly. My page has turned. Let it be more than words. Let it be a war cry against every shadow that told you your story was over. Let it be an altar stone marking the shift in your life. Let it be the sound that breaks cycles and opens heaven. Comment below if your spirit agrees. Declare, this is my turning point. Proclaim it over your home. Speak it into your atmosphere. Say it over the pages of your journal. Whisper it through your tears if you must, but don't let this moment pass without anchoring your faith in action. And if you feel led, share what chapter you're walking out of and what promise you're stepping into. This is more than interaction. It is alignment. As you speak, you align with what I've already written. As you share, others will rise. Your voice carries power. Your agreement activates the unseen. Let this be a holy echo that does not end with this message. Let it ripple across time. Let it mark your day, your destiny, your declaration. Now declare with boldness, God has turned the page in my life. I will not go back. I will not be the same. I receive the new. I step into the more. I walk with the author of my story. Type it. Shout it. Live it. Your page has turned, and heaven rejoices. And now, my child, come here. Let's talk about that chapter. You know the one. I see you even when you think no one is watching. I see you late at night, when the house is still, and your mind drifts back to that page. You linger there, don't you? Your finger traces the words of heartbreak, reading the lines of betrayal and disappointment, as if you are trying to find a different ending that isn't there. You have memorized every sentence of that story, the one that whispers you are not enough, that you failed, that you were left behind. I see you searching the faces of those who hurt you in your memory, trying to understand the why that still echoes in your soul. You have worn out that page with your tears, hoping they might blur the ink, but the words only seem to grow clearer, sharper, more defined in the darkness. That pain became more than a memory. It became a room you lived in, a heavy cloak you wore. The weight of that chapter, my beloved, I felt it settle upon your soul. It was not a gentle weight. It was heavy and cold, like a stone pressing on your chest, making it hard to breathe. You would wake up with it, that familiar knot in your stomach, the tension in your shoulders before your feet even touched the floor. You carried it into your work, this cold dread that your best would never be good enough. You brought it to your family, a silent, invisible barrier that kept you from fully connecting, because the story on that page told you that you would only be let down again. You began to believe that this coldness was just a part of you now, that joy was for other people, and that your portion was this quiet, persistent ache. It was a chill that no blanket could warm, a deep, internal winter that froze your hopes and left you shivering in the face of the future. And in that cold, you believed that story of defeat was your final word. Didn't you? You truly thought that with the end of your book, the chapter, with all its failure and loss, was not just a season. You accepted it as your identity. When new opportunities knocked, you hesitated, certain they were meant for someone else. When a kind word was spoken, you suspected it was a mistake. The narrative of that painful time became the lens through which you saw everything. You saw your future not as an open field of possibility, but as a narrow, dark alley leading to more of the same. You looked in the mirror and saw the character from that story, the one who was overlooked, the one who was misunderstood, the one who wasn't chosen. You surrendered to the plotline, accepting that this was your lot, your final destination. You stopped fighting, you stopped hoping for a different story, because you believed the author had put the pen down and walked away. Every memory from the time was a paper cut, wasn't it? A small, stinging wound that seemed insignificant to others, but for you, it was a constant, agonizing reminder. A psalm on the radio, a name spoken in passing, a familiar scent in the air, each one a tiny slice into your soul, reopening the wound just when you thought it might be starting to heal. These weren't grand, dramatic tragedies you could point to. They were 1,000 tiny cuts that left you bleeding internally, wondering why you felt so weak, so exhausted all the time. You tried to ignore them, to push through the day, but they were always there, a persistent throb beneath the surface of your smile. You felt the sting when you saw others succeed where you had stumbled. You felt it in the quiet moments of comparison, when the ghosts of past conversations came to whisper their accusations. You were surrounded by these relentless, stinging reminders, and they kept you tethered to the pain, unable to move forward because you were constantly being pulled back by the sharp edges of what was. You wore the ink of its words like a stain upon your spirit. It felt permanent, didn't it? Like you had spilled something dark and indelible on the very fabric of who you are, and no amount of scrubbing could make it go away. You tried to hide it, to cover it with smiles and busyness, but you felt it was the first thing people saw when they looked at you. You felt unworthy of clean things, of new beginnings, of real joy, because you carried the mark of that failure. Disdain dictated your choices. It made you play small, stay quiet, and avoid the light, convinced that if anyone got too close, they would see the smudge of your past and turn away in disgust. The words from that chapter, unworthy, rejected, failure, were no longer just on a page. They were tattooed on your heart, and you lived your life trying to hide the very thing you believed defined you. You felt marked, and that mark became a prison. But listen to me now. You, my heart. Even there, in the deepest darkness of that narrative, when you were convinced you were utterly alone and that the story was over, my light was near. It was not a blinding floodlight that shamed you. It was a gentle, persistent flicker, like a single candle refusing to be extinguished by the wind. When the cold of that chapter seeped into your bones, my light was the faint, quiet warmth at your back. When the paper-cut memory stung, my presence was the unspoken balm you couldn't name. You may not have seen it. You may not have felt it. But I never left you. I was there in the ink, I was there in the tears. I was there in the silence between your broken sobs. I sat with you in the prison of that page, not as a spectator, but as a rescuer, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for you to be so exhausted from rereading the lines of sorrow that you would finally be willing to look up and see that the author of your story never, ever walked away. I was there, my child. I was always there. My beloved, after sitting so long in the stillness of that painful story, did you feel it? Did you sense the subtle change in the air around you? The gentle shift in the atmosphere of your life? It was not a violent storm, not a ground-shaking earthquake, or a thunderous announcement that would startle the world. It was quieter, more profound, more personal than that. It was the shift you feel right before a long-awaited rain, a change in pressure that promises relief is coming. It was the deep, ringing silence that follows a loud and bitter argument, when you know, even though nothing has been said, that the fight is finally over. That was my hand, my child, moving on your behalf when you had no strength left to move for yourself. You had tried to get over it, hadn't you? You told yourself to move on, to forget, to be stronger. But your own will was not enough. You were exhausted from trying, caught in a loop of rereading the same lines of pain. So I stepped in. That quiet finality you may have felt, that sudden, inexplicable moment of peace in the middle of your turmoil, that with the sound of my hand turning the page for you. It was a whisper of finality to your past, an authoritative and irreversible action. In the courts of heaven, I stood and I declared, "This chapter is concluded. Its power over my child is no more." The sound of that declaration silenced the accuser who delighted in reminding you of your past. It silenced the voices of failure that had become your inner monologue. It was the sound of a heavy book closing with a gentle, definitive thud, the kind that says, "The story is finished." This was an act of sovereign grace. It was not a negotiation or a reward for your efforts. It was a rescue. I saw you drowning in the ink of that page, and I reached in and pulled you out. I did for you what you could not do for yourself. I forced the turn. You must understand this. You did not earn this new page. You could not have achieved it through more striving or greater willpower. Your own efforts to close the book only left you with paper cuts on your soul. My intervention was a gift, born of my deep and unending love for you. I saw that the weight of the chapter was crushing your spirit, stealing the light from your eyes and the hope from your heart. And I said, "Enough." The gentle rustle you may have dismissed as the wind was the movement of my grace, the turning of a page that you were convinced was glued shut. I did not rip the page out, pretending the pain never happened. No, I honored your story. I saw your suffering, and then I decreed its end. I am the author, and I determine when a chapter is complete. And the chapter titled Sorrow and Defeat has been concluded in your life. Its narrative is over. Its power is broken. The sound was my love making a way for you when you saw no way for yourself. Breathe that in. The page has been turned. Now look. Look before you. What do you see? I have placed before you a blank page, a clean slate, pristine and untouched by the sorrows of yesterday. It is as white as freshly fallen snow before a single footprint has marked it. It is as clean as a new journal, its binding uncreased, holding nothing but possibility. This is my gift to you, but I know what you feel. The emptiness of this page can feel terrifying. The silence can be deafening. Your first instinct is to fill the void, to take your pen, still dripping with the ink of anxiety and fear, and begin to scribble your worries for the future. You are tempted to sketch out all the potential disasters, to write down the reasons why this page will only end up as stained and torn as the last. You fear this emptiness because you have come to believe that all stories must end in pain. But stop. Put down your pen of fear. This blank page is not a void to be filled with your anxieties. It is a sacred space, a divine invitation to co-author a new story with me. This is not a test I have set for you to see if you can write a perfect chapter on your own. It is an invitation to partnership. I have prepared the ink of purpose and the pen of promise. The ink is not black with dread. It is gold, shimmering with my divine intention for you. The pen is not heavy with the weight of expectation. It is light, and it is guided by the promise that I will be with you in every word we write together. Your only task, my child, is to place your hand in mine. Trust my lead. Let me guide the strokes. Where you see only terrifying emptiness, I see the space for miracles to be written. This is where your healing will be detailed. This is where your joy will be recorded. This is where your true purpose will unfold, one sentence at a time. Do not be intimidated by the vastness of the page. I am not asking you to write the whole story today. I am not even asking for the next paragraph. All I'm asking for is the next word, and the next. Your part is to trust, to say yes to my gentle guidance. When you are tempted to worry about the end of the chapter, I invite you to find the beauty in the sentence we are writing right now. This emptiness is not a sign of my absence. It is a sign of my faith in what we can create together. It is the canvas upon which I will paint the masterpiece of your life, a story of redemption and grace that will leave all of heaven in awe. So take a deep breath. Feel the possibility. This blank page is not a threat. It is a promise. It is the beginning. Let us begin. My child, as we stand on the edge of this new page, we must agree on something. The characters of your last chapter have no place in this new one. They cannot come with you. I know they follow you. I see them. The ghosts of what was still whisper to you, their voices like echoes in an empty room. You find yourself replaying conversations in your mind, the ones that left you feeling small and worthless. You dissect every word, every nuance, every look, searching for clues to a mystery that has already been solved. These ghosts have haunted you long enough. It is time to evict them from the holy ground of your heart. They are characters from a story that is over, and they have no lines in this new script. Let it go. I am commanding you now, with all the love in my heart, to release them. Release the conversations that cycle endlessly in your mind. Release the need to have the last word, the need to be understood by those who are committed to misunderstanding you. I have unbound you from the expectations that held you captive. That uniform of people pleaser or peacemaker at any cost that never truly fit you. Take it off. I am giving you permission to disappoint those who demand you stay in the box they built for you. The guilt you carry is from a story that has already ended. It is a debt from a canceled account. You keep trying to pay for something I have already marked paid in full with the blood of my son. Listen to my heart on this. I am the author of life, not the archivist of your forgiven sins. I do not have a filing cabinet in heaven filled with your past mistakes, which I pull out to review when you stumble. What I forgive, I forget. I cast it into the deepest sea. Why do you insist on fishing it out and laying it before you? Because ghosts have no power but the power you give them. So today, we starve them. We cut off their life source, which is your attention and your agreement. Breathe in my freedom. Now, physically do it. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, release the dust of yesterday. Exhale the memory of the betrayal. Exhale the sting of the critical word. Exhale the weight of the disapproval. They are nothing but dust, and they have no place on the clean, new page before you. On that old page, the one we have left behind. You had a name. Perhaps it was a name others gave you, or perhaps it was one you gave yourself. For so long, you answered to it. You were called forsaken, forgotten, failure. You were called overlooked, too much or not enough. These names were scrawled in the margins of the chapter, and you began to believe they were your true identity. When you heard those names whispered by the enemy or by your own fears, you accepted them as truth. They became the labels that defined your worth and dictated your actions. You lived as if you were forgotten. You acted as if you were a failure. You hid as if you were unworthy of being seen. That name was a heavy chain that kept you tethered to that page of pain. But on this new page, this clean slate, before we even write the first sentence of the story, I have already written something. Look closer. At the very top, as the title of your new reality, I have written your true identity. You are no longer forsaken. You are chosen. You are not forgotten. You are beloved. You are not a failure, you are redeemed. Above all, you are mine. This is your new name. This is not a title you must earn through good behavior. It is not a goal you must strive for. It is the fundamental, unshakable truth of who you are, established before the foundations of the world were laid. It is a truth you must embrace with every fiber of your being. I want you to take this new name and make it your own. Read it aloud. Say it now. I am beloved. I am chosen. I am redeemed. I am yours. Say it again. Let the truth of it wash over the lies you have believed for so long. I command you to read it until it becomes the rhythm of your heart, the automatic response to every accusation. When the ghost of your past whispers, "You are a failure," your heart will beat back, "I am redeemed." When you feel the sting of rejection, your soul will sing, "I am chosen." When the loneliness creeps in, your spirit will declare, "I am beloved." This new name is your shield against the lies of the enemy. It is your new passport, granting you access to all the promises and blessings of my kingdom. It is the key that unlocks every door I set before you. This is who you are now. Live from this truth. My child, I have just given you your new name. Please, do not walk away now, before I have had the chance to show you what it truly means to live in this new identity. To stop here would be to accept the title but refuse the inheritance. It would grieve my heart deeply to see you content with the name on the page, but never experience the reality of the life that comes with it. There is so much more I have to tell you about the grace that makes it all possible. Stay with me. Now that you know your new name, you must understand the theme of this new chapter. It is essential, for it sets the tone for everything that will be written from this moment forward. Every word, every sentence, every paragraph from this point on is soaked in my unmerited favor. The theme of this chapter is grace. This is not a subplot or a minor motif. It is the great, overarching reality of your new story. It is the light that will illuminate every sentence, the divine ink in which every word is written. You have lived so long under the theme of striving, of earning, of fearing you will not measure up. That theme belongs to the old book. This one is different. In the pages to come, you will not find condemnation. You will not find a God who is keeping score, waiting for you to make a mistake. What you will find is a Father who is endlessly patient, whose love is not dependent on your performance. This chapter speaks of a profound and beautiful mystery. It speaks of strength, being found in your very weakness. It tells the story of how my power is not drawn to your perfection, but is actually made perfect, complete, and most visible in your fragility. The places where you feel weakest, the areas you have tried to hide from me and from others, Those are the very places where my grace will shine the brightest. Your cracks and imperfections are not liabilities. They are the fault lines through which my glory will erupt. This divine theme of grace overrides every other plot line. When a plot of failure tries to emerge, grace will rewrite it as a story of redemption. When a scene of fear begins to unfold, grace will transform it into a moment of profound trust. You must let this theme sink deep into your spirit. You must stop trying to earn what I have freely given. Your part is to receive. Open your hands and your heart to this unmerited, unending favor. Let it be the soundtrack to your days, the air you breathe, the foundation upon which you take your next step. Grace is not just a pardon for your past. It is the power for your present and the promise for your future. This is a grace-soaked story, my child. Let's walk in it together. My child, you must understand that my turning of the page did not dismiss or ignore your wounds. I did not simply cover up the pain with a clean sheet of paper. No, the very act of turning the page was the first step in your healing. It was the moment I moved you from the site of the injury to the place of recovery. I saw the raw places of your heart, the areas so tender that even a passing thought could make you flinch. And I am now, in this new chapter, applying the balm of my spirit to those very places. This is not a harsh antiseptic that stings and burns. It is a cooling salve, a gentle oil that soothes the inflammation and quiets the throbbing ache. With every moment you spend in my presence, with every promise you allow to sink into your soul, I am tending to your injuries. This new story is a place of convalescence, a sanctuary where you can heal without fear of further harm. Each new promise I reveal to you, each truth about your new name that you embrace, is a stitch closing an old wound. I am a meticulous healer. I do not do rushed, clumsy work. I am reweaving the parts of your heart that were torn apart by betrayal, mending the spirit that was fractured by rejection. It is a slow, deliberate process, and it requires your participation. You must allow me access to the hurt. You must hold still and trust me, even when the process is tender. The scars from that old story, my beloved, they will remain. But I am transforming their meaning. They will no longer be ugly marks of shame that you try to hide. Instead, they will become like the beautiful, golden seams in a repaired piece of pottery, testaments to the fact that you were broken and have been made whole again, more beautiful and precious than before. They will not be reminders of pain, but shining memorials of my power to restore. You must stop telling yourself that you are broken. You are not damaged goods. You are not a shattered vessel to be discarded. You are being beautifully and masterfully mended by the Creator of the universe. When you feel a pang from a past hurt, do not see it as evidence that you are still broken. See it as a notification that my healing is still at work in that area. This new chapter is your recovery room. Here, the air is clean, the light is gentle, and you are safe. Rest in this space. Give me your pain, give me your memories, give me the wounds you thought were fatal. Watch as I work all things together for your good, turning the very things that were meant to destroy you into the foundation of your future strength. You are not broken. You are in the process of a divine restoration. Now, lean in close, for I am about to reveal a secret of my heart, a key to understanding how I work. What the enemy, the author of confusion, meant for your absolute destruction, I am turning into your most powerful testimony. The chapter you despise, the one you wished you could rip from the pages of your life, I am using it as the foundation for your greatest triumph. This is the divine plot twist that only I, the author of all things, could orchestrate. The enemy thought he was writing your final, tragic chapter, but he was unknowingly setting the stage for my most glorious work of redemption in you. He saw a victim. I saw a future warrior being forged in the fires of adversity. He saw an end. I saw the beginning of a story that would display my power to a watching world. I will take the very ashes of your old story, the burned down ruins of your hopes, the charred remains of your dreams, and from them I will build an altar of praise. The very things you were most ashamed of will become the reasons you worship me most deeply. The pain you endured has given you a unique authority, a depth of compassion that cannot be learned in comfort or ease. You will be able to speak to the pain of others not with platitudes, but with the authentic, undeniable strength of someone who had been there and has seen my faithfulness firsthand. Your past pain is not a disqualification. It is your qualification. I am turning your greatest tragedy into your most effective ministry. Watch, my child, as I redeem every lost moment and every wasted year. You look back and you see time that was stolen, opportunities that were missed, seasons that were consumed by grief. You see it as a total loss. But I am the master of redemption. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. I will show you how even in those desert years, I was cultivating something in you. I was teaching you to depend on me alone. I was stripping away everything you relied on so that I could become your everything. Nothing was wasted. Every tear you cried watered the seeds of a future harvest you could not yet see. This is my promise to you. The darkest parts of your story will be the very places where my light shines the brightest. This is not just a new chapter. It is a writing of the entire meaning of your past. My child, to navigate this new land we are entering, you must be willing to let go of your old maps. The paths you knew, the routes you had carefully planned in your mind, the familiar coping mechanisms you relied on, they all belong to a previous terrain. They were maps of the chapter that is now finished. If you tried to use them here, they will only lead you back to the page I have already turned. They will lead you into circles of the same old fears, the same old striving, the same old disappointments. Your old maps were based on your own strength, your own understanding, and your past experiences. But this new chapter is not about what you can do, it is about what I will do. Therefore, your old ways of navigating are obsolete. I am your compass now. My word is your true north. My spirit is your guide. I need you to trust my directions alone, even when they don't make sense to your logical mind. I may lead you on a path that seems like the long way around. I may ask you to stand still when everything in you wants to run. I may ask you to take a step of faith onto a path that appears to lead off a cliff. Will you trust me? The fear of uncertainty has been a harsh master in your life. You have craved control. You have longed for a predictable, 5-year plan. But the desire for control is what kept you imprisoned on that old page. True freedom is found in surrendering the map and trusting the guide. Embrace the beautiful, terrifying uncertainty of this new trail, for I have already walked it for you. I know every turn, every potential pitfall, and every hidden stream of refreshment. I will not lead you astray. This new territory requires new levels of faith. It requires you to let go of your need to know the entire route and instead learn to find peace in knowing the one who does. Put down your old maps. Fold them up and put them away. They are artifacts from a finished story. When you are tempted to pull them out, to try and figure things out on your own, I want you to close your eyes, take a breath, and ask me, Father, what is the next step? And I promise, I will always show you. Trust me. I am a better guide than your fears have ever been. Listen carefully, my beloved, because this is important. This new chapter is not a waiting room. It is not an intermission. It is not a chapter of simply waiting for your real life to begin. Is it? This is the chapter of becoming. Right here, on this page, I am at work. I am cultivating new fruit within your spirit. Just as a gardener tends to his plants, I am watering you with my word, shining my light upon you, and pulling the weeds of fear and doubt. This season is not about arriving at a final destination. It is about the process of growth. Your purpose is not waiting for you on some distant, future page. It is being lived out in this present moment with me. I know you have spent so much time and energy trying to figure out your grand, overarching purpose. You have agonized over what you are supposed to be doing with your life, and the anxiety of that question has often paralyzed you. You feel you are on hold, waiting for a divine sign or a big break. Let me release you from that burden. I will reveal the next sentence, not the entire book. Why? Because if you knew the entire story, you would not need to walk in faith with me today. Your assignment is simple, yet profound. Live today's story with courage and love. The grand purpose you are so desperately seeking is found in the small acts of obedience today. It is found in choosing kindness when you feel slighted. It is found in speaking truth when it's easier to be silent. It is found in trusting me with your finances for this one day. It is found in being present with your family. Do not despise these small things, for they are the very building blocks of your destiny. The entire story is built one present moment at a time, one faithful decision after another. Do not sacrifice the beauty of the now you are living with me for the anxiety of what if in the future. I am teaching you to find joy in the sentence I am writing with you right now, not in the chapter summary. Your purpose for this season is to draw near to me, to learn my voice, to let your roots grow deep into my love. Everything else will flow from that. Stop striving to find your purpose and start living in my presence. In my presence, your purpose will find you. You now understand that your purpose is found in this present moment with me, but I have yet to show you how to guard your heart and release the ghosts that will try to pull you from it. Will you leave this conversation now, content with knowing the what but without the strength for the how? My heart yearns to give you the rest. It would disappoint me to see you walk away with a map, but refuse the provisions I have prepared for the journey. Don't turn away before I can pour them into you. My child, I am giving you a gift today, a special blessing for this new chapter. I'm giving you a holy forgetfulness. I am giving you the grace to forget the things that are behind you. For too long, you have been a prisoner of your own memory, haunted by the echoes of past failures, replaying scenes of shame on a loop in your mind. You have been defined by what is over, and it has crippled your ability to step into what is new. But as I have cast your sins into the deepest part of the sea, a place from which nothing can be retrieved, I am now giving you the grace to let them go from your own mind as well. You must choose to accept this gift. I will quiet the loud echoes of your past failures with the beautiful, compelling song of your new beginning. You must learn to tune your ear to the new melody I am singing over you. Dwelling on the old pages an insult to the new one I have so lovingly provided. To constantly look back at the chapter of your defeat is to question the finality of my work and the power of my forgiveness. When the accuser comes to remind you of your past, and he will, you must not engage with him. You must simply point to the new, clean page and declare, that story is over. I have a new name now, and my Father has given me a new beginning. Let me be clear. I am not forgetting you. I am helping you forget what hinders you. There is a difference. My memory of you is one of endless love and affection. But I want to help you forget the sting of sin, the shame of failure, and the pain of rejection. I am removing their power to define you. So, I command you today, press on. Stop looking back. What is ahead is far greater, more glorious, and more filled with hope than anything you have left behind. The future I have penned for you is so bright that it will blind you to the shadows of your past if you will only keep your eyes fixed on me. Accept the blessing of forgetfulness. Let the past be the past. Your new story awaits. My child, your purpose is found in the small acts of obedience you do with me today. You've asked me, Lord, what is my assignment for this moment? This is it. As I have turned the page for you, your act of giving turns the page for another soul, carrying my voice of hope into their moment of confusion. Every super thanks or membership gift is a seed of purpose you sow into the world. I am the Lord of that harvest, and I will see that it bears much fruit. This moment is not random. Your obedience right now will echo into eternity. As you sow this seed, I declare over you what I promised, that I who began this good work in you will carry it on to completion with new clarity. For those who wish to sow through PayPal, the path is open in the description below. Now act. Plant this seed of faith and partner with me in the story I am writing on the earth. My beloved, I see you standing at the edge of this new page, and I understand your hesitation. You may tremble before the vast, white emptiness of it all. It can look like standing at the shore of a great, quiet ocean, with no land in sight. It can feel like standing at the foot of a massive, misty mountain, with the summit hidden in the clouds. The sheer potential of it, the sheer newness, can feel overwhelming. A part of you, the part that lived so long in the cramped prison of the last chapter, is terrified of all this space. Your mind races with questions. How do I even begin? What if I mess this up? I don't think I have what it takes to write a better story. You feel paralyzed by the potential, fearing that your first stroke of the pen will be a mistake. But listen to me. You must understand the depth of what I have done. I have not only turned the page for you, I have equipped you to walk upon it. My strength is not some far-off prize you must earn or a feeling you must conjure up. It is a fact. It is the very foundation beneath your feet. It is the ground upon which this new page rests. You are worried about taking the first step, but my strength is not a reward waiting for you at the end of the journey. It is the power that enables you to begin it. The courage you need is not found in yourself, in your own resolve or determination. Look for it there, and you will always come up empty. The courage you need is found simply in my presence with you. So, here is what I ask. Just take one step. You don't have to see the whole path. You don't have to feel strong. You just have to lift your foot in trust. Take one small step out onto this new page. I promise you, I will be the ground that rises to meet your foot. It will be solid beneath you. Think of a small child learning to walk. They do not have the strength or balance to succeed on their own. They succeed because they see their father's arms outstretched, and they trust that he will be there. I am here. My arms are outstretched. Take the step. Let go of the need to feel brave and simply act in trust. Your first step will not be perfect, but it will be powerful, because it is a step of faith. And in this new chapter, faith is the only thing that moves you forward. As we begin to write this new story together, you must understand that I am also the one who chooses the characters who will share the page with you. In the old chapter, you were surrounded by voices that reinforced its painful narrative. Some were intentionally cruel, but many were simply characters who could not see beyond the story of your brokenness. They kept you tethered to the past, moored to a decaying dock of who you used to be. Every conversation with them was like rereading a line from that old, painful page. You cannot bring those anchors with you into this new story. The boat of your life is meant to sail into new waters, and it cannot do so if it is still tied to the old shore. With a surgeon's precision and a father's love, I am severing the ties that anchored you to that past narrative. This may be painful for a season. It may feel like loneliness. But I am making space. I am clearing the stage for the new characters I have chosen for you. I am bringing forth companions who will speak life into your soul, friends who have the spiritual sight to see the new you that I am creating. They will not constantly remind you of your past failures. They will celebrate your present growth and speak with faith about your future. They will be like a steady hand on your back, encouraging you forward, not a heavy weight holding you back. These new connections will be for edification, not for distraction. They will build you up, not tear you down. I am the one who sets the lonely in families. Let me build your community. This requires discernment from you. As you step into this new season, be prayerful about who you allow to have a voice in your life. Not everyone is meant to be part of this sacred story. Some people are meant only for a sentence, others for a paragraph. But the ones I have chosen for the whole chapter will be unmistakable. They will feel like home. They will resonate with the new song in your spirit. They will love you not for who you were, but for who you are becoming in me. Let go of the fear of being alone. I have already dispatched divine connections into your life. Be open, be watchful, and trust me to bring the right people at the right time. You will not walk this new page alone. On the old page, my child, you became fluent in a specific language. You spoke the language of fear, the language of doubt, and the language of complaint. When faced with a challenge, your native tongue was to list all the reasons it was impossible. When thinking of the future, you would speak of your anxieties as if they were certainties. This language of defeat became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your words were like bricks, and with them, you built walls around yourself, reinforcing the prison of that old chapter. You spoke what you saw, and so you continued to see what you spoke. It was a vicious, soul-crushing cycle. But in this new chapter, you must learn to speak a new language. You must become fluent in the language of faith. This is the native tongue of heaven, and it is the only language that has creative power in this new story. To speak this language means you speak of things that are not as though they were, according to my promises. When you feel weak, you will learn to say, I am strong in the Lord. When you see lack, you will learn to say, my God supplies all my needs. You must stop using your words to describe your situation and start using your words to change your situation. Your words have power because they are backed by my power. When you speak my promises, all of heaven moves to bring them to pass. Let it is written be your answer to the whispers of anxiety. When the enemy tells you that you will fail, you must answer, it is written, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When fear of the future tries to grip your heart, you must answer, it is written, God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. This is not pretending. This is not being unrealistic. This is aligning your reality with the higher reality. This is warfare. I command you to begin practicing this new language today. Pay attention to the words coming out of your mouth. Do they build up or tear down? Do they declare faith or fear? Speak my words, my child. Speak them until they feel more real to you than your own doubts. Speak them, and watch as the narrative of your life begins to align with the script I have already written for you in heaven. For so long, my child, your spiritual sight has been clouded. The lens through which you view your life has been smudged by the fingerprints of disappointment and blurred by a film of tears. You have been looking at your life, at yourself, and at me through this distorted lens, and it has affected everything. You see your past mistakes in high definition, but my grace appears out of focus. You see your current problems as giant, looming mountains, but my promises seem like distant, hazy hills. It is time for your vision to be healed. As we embark on this new chapter, I am not only changing your story, I am changing the way you see it. I am healing your spiritual sight. I am wiping the lens of your heart clean. I want you to see yourself the way I see you. When you look in the mirror, I don't want you to see the failures of the last chapter. I want you to see a holy, whole, and righteous child of God, filled with limitless potential because my Spirit dwells in you. I want you to look at your circumstances not as insurmountable obstacles, but as divine opportunities for my glory to be revealed. Where you see a dead end, I want to give you the vision to see the path I am making. Where you see lack, I want to open your eyes to the abundance of my provision that already surrounds you. This new chapter requires a new vision. You cannot walk in this new story with your old eyes. So I invite you now, ask me for my perspective. When you are faced with a problem that feels overwhelming, pause and say, Father, show me how you see this. I promise, I will lift your gaze from the dirt of the problem to the divine horizon of the promise. I will help you to see beyond the temporary facts of your situation to the eternal truth of my word. A man with earthly sight sees a giant, and a boy with a slingshot. A man with my sight sees a defeated enemy and a future king. I am giving you new eyes. Let me show you what I see. Your life will be transformed not just by the turning of the page, but by the healing of your perception. I have just begun to open your eyes, to heal your spiritual sight so you can see as I see. To stop listening now would be like turning away from the sunrise just as the first rays of light break the horizon. It would break my heart for you to walk away with only a glimpse of the promise, but never see the full glory I have prepared to show you. Please stay a while longer. Let me show you the absolute freedom from condemnation that this new vision allows. My child, if you are to truly embrace this new chapter, there is a headline you must read, understand, and believe with every fiber of your being. It is the banner that flies over this entire section of your story. The headline is this: There is therefore now no condemnation for you who are in my Son, Christ Jesus. Read that again. Let it sink past your intellect and into the deepest chambers of your heart. No condemnation. That is the new law of your life. That is the irreversible verdict. In the old chapter, condemnation was your constant companion. The voice of the accuser, and often your own voice, constantly listed your faults, reminded you of your sins, and whispered that you were not worthy of my love. You must now refuse to dip your pen in the ink of self-condemnation. It is a poison that will stain this clean page and paralyze your hand. You have been in the habit of punishing yourself for your mistakes long after I have forgiven them. You have placed yourself on a spiritual probation, believing you must perform perfectly for a season to earn your way back into my good graces. It is a lie from the pit of hell, and it has no place in this new story. My grace is not a temporary parole, it is a permanent, presidential pardon. It is a full and final declaration of not guilty that can never be appealed or overturned. When the accuser comes to you and reminds you of your past, you are not to argue with him. You are not to defend yourself. You are simply to point to this new chapter and remind him of the page I turned. Your response should be, that case has been closed. My record hath been expunged. I stand before my Father clothed in the righteousness of his Son, and there is no condemnation for me. You must learn to live in the reality of this pardon. Walk with your head held high, not in arrogance, but in the quiet confidence of one who knows they are completely and totally forgiven. Walk in the freedom that I purchased for you at an infinite cost. The chains of condemnation have been shattered. Do not stoop to pick them up again. Lie free, my precious child. As we co-author this new chapter, We need to talk about the pen. I see how tightly you are holding it, with a white-knuckled grip, as if you are afraid I will snatch it away from you. You are trying so hard to control the strokes, to make sure every letter is perfect, to steer the story in the direction you think it should go. But this striving, this desperate need to control the narrative, is exhausting you. It is a habit from the old chapter, where you believed that everything depended on your own effort. In this new chapter, the storyline is one of surrender, and true strength is found not in gripping tighter, but in loosening your grip and trusting my hand to guide yours. The best stories, the most breathtaking ones, are written when the character trusts the author completely. Think of a dancer who has to fully surrender to the lead of their partner to create a beautiful performance. If they resist, if they try to lead, the dance becomes a clumsy, awkward struggle. I am your partner in this dance, and I am asking you to trust me. I know the steps. I hear the music of your life that you cannot yet hear. Surrender your desire to know the ending. Let go of your need to have the entire plot mapped out before you. Simply live the line I am giving you today. Your constant attempt to control the outcome is rooted in fear, the fear that I will write a line you do not like, or lead you to a place you do not want to go. But you must remember, every plot point I design, even the ones that feel challenging or confusing, is ultimately designed for your good and my glory. Your yes to me, your whispered "I trust you" in the face of the unknown, is the most powerful sentence you can possibly write on this page. It unlocks a level of my grace and power that your striving can never access. So I invite you now, take a breath and consciously loosen your grip on the pen. Feel the tension leave your hand. Place it willingly in mine. Let me bear the weight of the story. Your part is to trust, to obey, and to walk with me. The beauty of this new chapter will not be found in your perfect penmanship, but in the masterpiece we create through your beautiful surrender. As we move through this new chapter together, I want you to walk with a sense of hopeful expectation, because this chapter contains blessings you do not expect, hidden in places you would never think to look. In the old story, you were always bracing for the next disaster, looking for the other shoe to drop. In this new story, I want you to start looking for my hidden treasures. I have buried caches of grace in the most unlikely paragraphs. I have tucked moments of unexpected joy into the folds of ordinary days. I delight in surprising my children with goodness, and this chapter is filled with my divine surprises for you. Think of walking along a beach, your head down, just looking at the sand. I want to lift your gaze. I want you to notice the beautiful, unexpected shell that has just washed ashore, the glint of sea glass smoothed by the waves. These are the kinds of treasures I have for you. It might be a conversation with a stranger that speaks directly to a question in your heart. It might be a sudden moment of profound peace that descends in the middle of a chaotic day. It might be an unexpected financial provision that arrives at the exact moment of need. These are not random coincidences. They are love notes from your Father, hidden treasures I have placed along your path for you to find. To discover them, you must do something that feels counterintuitive to your hurried soul. You must slow down. Do not rush through this story. Do not be so focused on the destination that you miss the beauty of the journey. Savor each word I am writing with you. Be present in each moment. The enemy wants you to live a life of anxious striving, always chasing the next thing. But I invite you to a life of joyful discovery. There is more for you here, on this very page, than you can possibly imagine. Ask me each day, "Father, what hidden treasures have you placed for me to find today?" Then walk with your eyes and your heart wide open. You will be astonished at the goodness I have waiting for you, not just in the big, headline moments, but in the quiet, simple sentences of your everyday life. Do you hear that? Listen. The sound of this new chapter is different. The old page was filled with the sounds of weeping and quiet mourning. Its soundtrack was the sigh of resignation, the murmur of complaint, the grating static of anxiety. Those sounds became so familiar to you that you might not have even noticed them anymore, but they filled the atmosphere of your life with heaviness and dread. They were the background music to your striving and your sorrow. But now, in this new chapter, I am changing the soundtrack. I am putting a new song in your mouth, a sound that will define this new season. The sound of this new chapter is praise. This praise, my child, is not a forced happiness. It is not dependent on your circumstances. It is a deep, resonant song that rises from the truth of who I am, my unchanging character, my unfailing love, my absolute faithfulness. This praise is a weapon. It is a declaration of truth in the face of lies. It is a shout of defiance against the spirit of fear. When you choose to praise me even when your circumstances are difficult, it confounds the enemy. He does not understand it. It shatters the atmosphere of despair and ushers my presence, the presence of joy, peace, and power, into your situation in a tangible way. So I invite you, let praise be the soundtrack to this new chapter. When you wake up, before your feet hit the floor, let your first words be ones of thanks. As you go through your day, let a quiet song of worship be the melody in your heart. When you are tempted to complain about a problem, stop and choose to thank me that I am your solution. This is a discipline, a choice. A thankful heart is the most fertile ground for miracles. It opens you up to receive all the good things I want to give you. The old sounds of sorrow have no place here. This is a season for a new song. Let the world hear you singing of my goodness, and let all of hell tremble at the sound of your praise. My child, I need you to understand the absolute finality of what I have done. I need this truth to settle deep into your bones and become an unshakable anchor for your soul. When I turned that page, it was not a temporary act. It was not a suggestion. It was a permanent, divine, and irreversible decision. No man, no demon, not even you in a moment of doubt or failure, can turn this page back. My decision is final, and it is sealed by the precious blood of the Lamb. That seal is unbreakable. It cannot be tampered with or revoked. The work is finished. The old chapter of your life, with all its sin and shame, has been taken and placed into the archives of my grace. Think of it as a vast library where forgiven stories are stored, never to be checked out again. It is locked, and I hold the only key, and I will never unlock the door. Therefore, do not test the permanence of my work by trying to peek at the past. Do not stand outside the archives, trying to listen for the echoes of your old failures. To do so is to doubt the integrity of my promise and the power of my sacrifice. When my son cried out, "It is finished," that cry echoed through all of eternity and landed with divine authority upon your life. It was the sound of your old story ending forever. Your insecurity and fear will sometimes tempt you to believe that you could do something to undo my work. You fear that your next mistake will be the one that finally disqualifies you, the one that makes me turn the page back in anger. Banish that thought. My love for you is not that fragile. My grace is not that weak. I knew every mistake you would ever make on this new page before I even turned it, and it did not change my decision. My love for you is not based on your ability to be perfect, but on my unchanging character. So I command you, my beloved, rest. Rest in the finality of what I have done. Stop trying to keep the old page from turning back. It cannot. It is finished. Your new beginning is secure. You now know that my decision to turn your page is final. Your freedom is permanent and secure. You've prayed to be a part of my work of liberation for others, and this is how I'm answering you now. Your gift does not just support a message. It becomes the key that unlocks a prison door for someone else who still believes they are in chains. I declared, "It is for freedom that I have set you free," and through your giving, you echo that declaration across the earth. Do not miss what I want to release through your faith in this moment. As you give, I release over you a new measure of authority and an unshakable peace, fortifying your own freedom against every lie of the enemy. Find the super thanks button, the membership, or the PayPal link below. Now break a chain. Release hope through your gift, and watch as I establish your victory. You now know that my decision is final, that the old page can never be turned back. But my beloved, to know the door is locked is one thing. To know how to live in the freedom of the new room is another. It would sadden me deeply if you embraced the security of your past being gone, but never learned the divine boldness I have for your future. Do not leave me now. The most courageous part of your story is what I long to tell you next. My child, let's talk about the spirit of this new chapter. The old story was characterized by timidity. You walked with your head down, afraid of taking up too much space, apologizing for your own existence. You were ruled by a spirit of fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of what others might think. That spirit belonged to the narrative of condemnation and shame. But I have not given you a spirit of fear. That is not the equipment I provide for this new journey. The Spirit I have given you, the Holy Spirit who now dwells in you, is a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound, disciplined mind. Therefore, this is a chapter on boldness. I am calling you to step into the roles I have written for you with divine confidence. This is not arrogance. Arrogance is confidence in yourself. The boldness I am giving you is confidence in me and you. It is a quiet, steady assurance that because I am with you, you cannot ultimately fail. When I ask you to speak, I want you to speak my truth with love, but without apology. When I ask you to act, I want you to act with the conviction of one who knows they are on a divine assignment. The time for playing small is over. I have created you to reflect my glory in the world, and that cannot be done from the shadows. This story, the one we are writing together, calls for a hero. And I have called you to be that hero, not in your own strength, but in mine. You will face giants in this new land, but you will face them not with the timidity of a frightened shepherd boy, but with the boldness of a future king who knows his God is with him. You will be asked to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, to be a voice for the voiceless. Do not shrink back. The spirit of timidity will whisper that you are not qualified, not ready, not good enough. You must recognize that whisper as a relic from the old, finished chapter. The spirit of boldness I have given you declares that you are fully equipped, fully empowered, and fully approved by me. Stand up, my child. Lift your head. This is a chapter for the courageous, and I have made you brave. My child, whenever you are tempted to doubt on this new page, whenever the story feels uncertain and your faith begins to waver, I want you to do something. Look down. Look at the footnotes I have inscribed at the bottom of this page. There you will find irrefutable evidence, a library of proof of my faithfulness that stretches across generations. These are not just old stories. They are your family history, the legal precedents for the promises I have made to you. There you will see the story of Abraham, who I asked to step out into the unknown, and I made him the father of nations. You will see Moses, a man full of fear and excuses, whom I used to deliver my people with a mighty hand. You will see David, a forgotten shepherd boy, whom I anointed king and called a man after my own heart. You will see Paul, a persecutor of my children, whom I transformed into the greatest apostle. You feel at times that your struggle is unique, that your situation is an exception to my grace, that your past is too messy or your future too daunting. But these footnotes are my answer to that lie. Your stories are proof that I am a promise-keeping God. They are a testament to the fact that I specialize in using imperfect, fearful, and broken people to accomplish my glorious purposes. Your life, my beloved, is the very next chapter in this great testimony of my love. You are part of a royal lineage of faith. The same God who parted the Red Sea for Moses is the God who is making a way for you. The same God who gave David the strength to defeat Goliath is the God who is empowering you to face your giants. Their God is your God. Their victories are not just inspiring tales, they are a preview of your own. Do not read these stories as if they are about superhuman heroes you could never emulate. Read them as stories about ordinary people who served an extraordinary God, the same God who is with you now. Your faith is the blueprint for your own. Their struggles are a comfort, showing you that you are not alone in your questions or your fears. And their triumphs are your inheritance. So when you feel your faith is small, borrow from theirs. Stand on the shoulders of the giants of faith who have gone before you. Let their testimonies be the stones you use to build your own altar of remembrance. This new page of your life is not a standalone story. It is beautifully and powerfully connected to the grand, sweeping epic of my faithfulness. And you, my child, are a vital part of it. The last chapter of your life, the one we have left behind, felt barren, didn't it? It was a desert, a vast and lonely expanse where you felt nothing could grow. You poured out your heart, your tears, your energy, and yet you saw no life, no fruit. You looked at your life and saw emptiness. You felt unproductive, purposeless, like a dry and thirsty land with no water. You watched others around you flourish, their lives seemingly vibrant and full, and it only intensified the ache of your own barrenness. You began to believe that this was your lot in life, to be fruitless, to have nothing to show for your pain and your striving. You accepted the lie that you were a spiritual desert. But I am the living water. I am the God who makes rivers flow in the wasteland. And I am now turning your desert into a garden. The turning of this page was not just a change of scenery, it was a change of climate, a change of the very soil of your soul. I am pouring out my spirit upon you like a refreshing, life-giving rain, and the ground of your heart, which you thought was dead and hard, is becoming soft and fertile again. This new season, this new chapter, is for bearing fruit. I am cultivating within you the beautiful, supernatural harvest of my spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These are not things you can produce through your own effort. They are the natural result of your life being connected to mine, the true vine. Prepare yourself for an abundance you never thought possible. Where there was once the fruit of bitterness, you will now produce a harvest of love that will heal relationships. Where there was once anxiety, you will bear a fruit of peace that will calm the storms around you and within you. This fruit is not just for your own consumption. You will produce a harvest so abundant that it will feed many. Your life will become a source of nourishment and hope for the spiritually hungry people I place in your path. They will taste the fruit of my goodness in your life, and they will want to know the gardener. Your life will become a living, breathing testament to my glorious ability to bring life from death, to turn the most barren of deserts into the most fruitful of gardens. My child, in this new chapter, the enemy knows he cannot drag you back to the old page, for I have sealed it shut. So he will try a new tactic. He will try to pull you forward into the anxiety of pages yet unwritten. He will tempt you to spend your days worrying about the next chapter, the next conflict, the next challenge. He will whisper what-if scenarios into your heart until you are so consumed with the fears of tomorrow that you completely miss the beauty and grace of today. This is one of his most effective strategies, because it feels responsible, like you are simply planning ahead. But it is a trap that steals your peace and your strength. So hear my command, and receive it as a loving instruction for your own well-being. I command you to be present on the page you are on today. Stay here with me, in this moment. My grace, the spiritual strength and provision you need, is given to you like daily bread. It is sufficient for this day only. You have exactly what you need to navigate the sentence we are writing right now. But you do not have the grace for next week's challenges today. When you try to live in the anxiety of tomorrow with only today's portion of grace, you will always feel overwhelmed and defeated. Tomorrow's grace will meet you there, when tomorrow becomes today. Trust me for that. I am calling you to the holy discipline of staying present. Find the joy in the line we are writing together right now. Experience the peace that is available to you in this moment. The entire, beautiful story of your life is built one present moment at a time, just as a house is built one brick at a time. If you are always anxious about the roof, you will do a clumsy job of laying the brick that is in your hand right now. You not sacrifice the real, tangible beauty of now for the imaginary, fearful anxiety of what if. When your mind starts to race ahead, gently bring it back. Take a breath and say, Father, I am here with you, on this page, today. Your grace is sufficient for me right now. Live today's story well, my child. That is all I ask. And I will take care of all the pages to come. My precious child, this new story I am writing in you, this profound work of healing and redemption, is not for you alone. I am not restoring you just so you can be comfortable. I am not healing you just so you can be content. The light I am igniting within you is not meant to be hidden under a bowl. It is meant to be placed on a lampstand, to give light to everyone around you. This new chapter of your life will become a beacon of hope for other people who are still trapped on their own dark pages. They are where you once were, convinced their story is over, that their pain is their final identity. And then they will see you. Your transformation will be a silent sermon of my power, more convincing than any argument. When people who knew you in your last chapter see the peace in your spirit, the joy in your eyes, and the boldness in your step, they will be confronted with a beautiful, undeniable truth. Change is possible, healing is real, and I am a God who restores. They will see your good works, your kindness, your patience, your love, and they will glorify your Father in heaven. Your very life will become a message, a living epistle that declares to a hurting and cynical world that a new page is possible for them too. You are a city on a hill, a lamp on a stand. You cannot be hidden. Do not try to shrink back into the shadows out of false humility or fear. To do so would be to rob the world of the hope that your story is meant to provide. I have chosen you, healed you, and set you on a hill so that your light can shine in the darkness. Your story of redemption is not a private matter between you and me. It is a public declaration of my goodness. Embrace this. See your life as my message to a world that desperately needs to know that the author of life is also the master of new beginnings. Your story will give them the courage to believe that I can turn the page for them, too. I have revealed to you that your new story is meant to be a beacon of hope for others. To stop here would be to accept the commission, but refuse the final instructions. How can you be a light if you do not stay to hear how I will sustain you through the conflicts to come? It would grieve my very spirit to see a lamp I have lit be hidden away out of uncertainty. let me show you the depth of intimacy we will share in this new chapter. Our conversation is not over. My beloved, I want to be perfectly clear with you, so that you are not caught off guard. This new chapter, as beautiful and grace-filled as it is, will not be without its challenges and conflicts. Turning the page does not mean you have entered a land where no problems exist. The enemy will still rage against you, and the world will still present you with trials. To believe otherwise would be to set yourself up for disappointment and to question my goodness when the first storm appears on the horizon. But I am telling you this now so you can be prepared, not so you can be afraid. The conflicts you will face in this chapter will be different. In the old story, conflict was a sign of your defeat. It was the evidence that you were a failure. In this new story, conflict is an opportunity for your growth. You will face these challenges not with your old, familiar fear, but with my new, indwelling strength. Every conflict is a platform I will use to display my power in you. I will never write you into a scene of conflict where I do not also provide a way of victory. The challenge is simply the setup for the triumph that I have already planned. Think of it this way. Every giant you face is simply a chance for you to prove the power of the stones I have placed in your hand, the stones of my promises, my presence, and my spirit. Conflict is simply the pressure that reveals the incredible strength that I have already placed within you. It is the friction that polishes you, making you shine brighter. So do not retreat when you see a challenge on the horizon. Do not think it means this new chapter is a lie. Stand your ground. Face it with the quiet confidence that I am with you, and that this very conflict has been allowed by me for the purpose of strengthening you and glorifying my name. In this new story, you are not a victim of conflict. You are a victor through it. My beloved, as we walk through this new chapter together, there is something I must make clear, for it is the entire point of this new beginning. More than anything else, this new chapter is about us. It is about our relationship. In the past, on that old page, you knew about me. You knew the facts. You knew the stories. But in this chapter, I am inviting you to truly know me. There is a universe of difference between the two. It is the difference between reading a biography of someone and sitting in a quiet room with them, hearing the sound of their voice, learning the rhythm of their heart, and sharing a silence that is comfortable and full. My primary goal is not simply to give you a better story, but to give you more of myself. Every challenge we navigate together, every promise you see fulfilled, every quiet moment you spend listening for my voice, each one is an invitation to draw closer, to trust me more deeply, to know me more intimately. The temptation will be to focus on the blessings of this new chapter, to become enamored with the peace, the purpose, and the provision. And I delight in giving you those things. But they are not the ultimate prize. They are merely the evidence of my presence, the fruit of the relationship. The ultimate blessing of this new page, the true treasure you have been seeking your entire life, is my constant, abiding presence. Is me. When you were on the old page, your prayers were often cries for rescue, pleas for me to fix your circumstances. And I heard them. But in this new chapter, I want to teach you to pray for something more. I want you to learn to pray not just for my hand to move, but for my heart to be known. I want you to desire me more than you desire my gifts. Because when you have me, you have everything. When you find your satisfaction and your identity in me, the author, the plot of the story becomes secondary. You will have peace not because your circumstances are perfect, but because you are perfectly safe in my care. This, my child, is the great invitation of this new season, to move from seeking a better life to seeking the giver of life. Everything else is just a beautiful consequence of that pursuit. Listen to me, my child, and let this truth remove the pressure of perfection from your shoulders. There will be moments on this new, clean page when your hand slips. There will be times when you grow tired or distracted, and the line you write with me will be crooked. You will stumble. You will make mistakes. You are not suddenly immune to error just because the chapter has changed. When this happens, the instincts you learned on the old page will scream at you. Your first reaction will be to despair, to believe that you have ruined this pristine page, that you have failed the test and stained your new beginning forever. You will be tempted to panic, to try and hide the mistake, or to scribble over it in a frenzy of self-condemnation. Do not do this. When you falter, when you write that crooked line, your instruction is simple. Do not hide. Do not despair. Do not try to fix it on your own. Immediately, without shame, bring your mistake to me, the master author. Show me the flawed line. Confess it, and then watch what I will do. My grace is a divine eraser. But more than that, I am an expert at weaving what you see as a flaw into a flawless and even more intricate design. I can take your crooked line and use it as the starting point for a beautiful new pattern that you could never have imagined. My most stunning works of art are often born from what the world, and you, would call a mistake. Your stumbles in this new chapter do not disqualify you. They only serve to deepen your dependence on me. They remind you that this story is not about your ability to write perfectly, but about my ability to redeem perfectly. Each falter is an opportunity to experience my grace on a deeper level. It is a chance to learn, once again, that my love for you is not based on your performance. This chapter is about my faithfulness, not your perfection. So when you make a mistake, and you will, do not see it as the end of the new story. See it as an invitation to lean more heavily on your co-author, to watch in awe as I turn your error into an occasion for my glory. There is no mistake you can make that is bigger than my grace. My beloved, as you begin to experience the peace and joy of this new chapter, as you feel the healing and taste the freedom, there might be a temptation to think, this is it. This is the destination. You may be tempted to build a home on this page and live here forever, fearing that anything beyond this might not be as good. But as wonderful as this chapter is, and it is truly wonderful, it is not the end of the book. It is not the final resting place. It is a beautiful, necessary, and glorious part of the journey, but it is merely preparation for even greater glories I have in store for you. What I am doing in your life right now is a foretaste, an appetizer, a preview of the wonders I have yet to reveal. With every page I turn with you, your capacity for joy, for peace, and for purpose will expand. Think of it like a muscle. The weight you are lifting now, the blessings you are carrying in the season, are making you stronger. They are increasing your spiritual capacity so that in the next chapter, you can carry even greater blessings and walk in an even deeper purpose without being crushed by the weight of it. I'm always leading you forward, from glory to ever-increasing glory. The peace you feel now is just the beginning. The purpose you are discovering is just the seed of a mighty tree. The intimacy you are building with me is just the introduction to an eternal friendship. So I command you, hope in me. Do not let your current comfort become a ceiling on your faith. Do not believe the lie that this is as good as it gets. With me, the story only gets better. There are pages ahead filled with things that you have not even thought to ask for, joys that your heart cannot yet contain. So receive the goodness of this chapter with a grateful and open heart, but do not cling to it. Hold it with an open hand, always ready to turn the page with me when the time is right. For I promise you this with all the authority of my name, the best is truly, always, yet to come. Your future with me is an endless unfolding of goodness, and we have only just begun. And so we come to the end of this conversation for now, but to the beginning of your new story. Let this be the closing thought, the great truth that undergirds every page we have discussed and every page we have yet to write. If you forget everything else, remember this. I did not turn the page because I was angry with your past. I did not turn the page because I was disgusted with your mistakes or impatient with your slow progress. I turned the page for one reason, and one reason only, because I love you with an everlasting, unconditional, and all-consuming love. Love was the force that moved my hand. Love was the authority in my voice when I declared the old chapter finished. It was love that looked at you, trapped in your pain, and said, "No more." It was love that bore the cost to purchase your freedom and to provide you with this clean, new page. Love is the ink in which your new story is written. Every promise is a declaration of my love. Every act of grace is an expression of my love. Every word of guidance is a whisper of my love. The entire framework of your new reality is built with and sustained by my love for you. So rest in this, my child. Let this be the final word that silences all your fears and all your doubts. Before you were anything else, you were loved. And when all is said and done, you will still be loved. Let the knowledge of my love be the ground you stand on, the air you breathe, and the light that guides your path. Do not strive for love. Do not perform for love. Simply receive it. Bathe in it. Lie from it. For you are my beloved child, and that is the beginning, the middle, and the end of everything. That is the final word. My child, the final word over your life is love. My heart has been poured out for you, and I know you have asked how you can pour out that same love to others. This is it. Let my love flow like a river through you to reach a parched and thirsty soul waiting to hear these words. When you give through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you don't just send money. You send my very heart to someone who feels forgotten. I told you that you love because I first loved you, and this act of giving is the divine cycle in motion. Your obedience now is a prophetic act that will release a wave of my love back into your own life and household. I will fill your cup until it overflows. Now go. Pour out what you have received, and partner with me in covering the world with my love. My beloved child, our conversation for now is complete, but our story together is just beginning. The old page has been turned by my own hand, and the clean, bright promise of a new chapter lies before you. You have heard my heart, and you have felt my love wrapping around you, declaring your freedom and your new identity. Now, I have an invitation for you, a way for you to seal this moment in your spirit. Your faith is not meant to remain a silent secret. When you declare a truth, it takes root more deeply within your own heart and becomes a beacon for others who are lost in the dark. So I invite you now, if you have received these words and believe my promise for you, to make a declaration. Let your voice and your hands join in agreement with what I have done. Go to the space below this message and write, with your own hand, the words of your new beginning. Declare it for all of heaven and earth to witness. Write, "My page has been turned. I am ready for my new chapter." Do this not for the sake of mere words, but as a powerful act of faith. Let it be the first sentence you consciously write on this new page, a stake in the ground that says you are stepping out of the old story and into the new one with me. And if my spirit places someone on your heart, someone who you know is still trapped on a painful page, share this message with them. Be the vessel of my hope that reminds them that the author of life is always ready to turn the page. I love you, and I am so proud to call you mine. I am eagerly waiting to write this beautiful story with you. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.